here. I want to travel to Bo Wadasa or the other cities to see any activities. I have the freeway there to do that. We don't have that in Liberia. You know, I mean, these are some of the smaller things, right? The smaller things that happen, right? These are the minor things that can be fixed that we can focus on to make sure that we attract investors in there. We have the NIC, the National Investment Commission. These people are supposed to be taxed with leveraging and bringing investors in the country. Talk to, go to, do a road show, go to other countries, pitch Liberia as an investment hub, pitch the advantages of the country to other companies, other countries, and why they should come to invest in Liberia. Since the administration came into power, tell me one time these people did any such thing, or even host the diaspora Liberian. We are the middle class of our country, the Liberian in the diaspora. When was the last time they ever pitched to the Liberian in the diaspora to say, hey, we're doing this. Hey, we want to pitch to you to raise bonds. That they talk about raising bond few, I think 2019 or 17. That fizzled out in no time and they never revisited that. I don't want to keep rambling here, but Liberia, we're not serious about this administration isn't serious about doing anything. I hate to say it, but that's the reality. As I said, I would take Ellen administration, what people were doing okay, what the citizens were doing okay, even though they were corrupt as well, than what they are right now. When you go to Liberia right now, you what people would say, you see abject poverty. You will see abject poverty with your own eyes, right? That's if you take your time and walk in the various community and interact with people. But I will leave it right there.
Thank you. One of the things I want to therefore question for you is investment infrastructure, and the reason. And let me tell you why I say this. At this moment, Indonesia has pretty much announced that the country will cease exporting raw palm oil until further notice, starting on April 28, 2022. This is intended to increase the domestic supply and lower the domestic prices. And this is in Indonesia. Does Liberia at this moment has the infrastructure to take advantage of something like this?
Thank you very much. Before I go to that, you were talking about the business climate. There are a couple of things that we need to be that are very much that determinant of a very good business climate. You need to have a system where you're talking about infrastructure, and also you also want to take into consideration registering of business and property, and electricity, having the opportunity to trade, across border, and making sure that there's contract enforcement. And these are things that help country to have a very good business climate, where they are constrained in terms of contract enforcement, in terms of electricity, protection of minority rights and all of these things, property rights are not there, and government construction permit. These are things that are very much important, that they doing business, census or survey that is done by the World Bank, the rest of these are the indicators that take into consideration. And
right.
if you want to improve your system, go and ensure you register. Business registry, everything should be, on time frame, should be limited, and all of these things should be available. Access to information should be something that will help you. Having said that, the issue of Indonesia, I think when I read this the last time, Business Insiders, I read a story. I decided to go deeper. And that's the reason why those who are into national investment, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Corporation, that's why they're supposed to be reading and making sure that do analysis and see clearly. Liberia has an advantage in this case. Indonesia depends on Liberia. Golden Varian is an Indonesia company. And Golden Varian has now the huge production of oil palm in Liberia. If there's a challenge for Indonesia to export, and the price of oil palm has increased by 7% as it is reported in the report, that gave their company in Liberia an opportunity to have access to the sub-region, the ECOWAS market.
Yeah.
And they themselves, they also have certification, as a member of the ECOWAS state, so to take their product across the border. And that will also generate huge revenue for Liberia. What's about, besides Golden Variant, which is more a multilateral corporation, what happened to smallholder farmers, oil palm producers? This is where the education and opportunity have to come in now to say, look, will the potential increase or will the increase in the oil palm price and make it attractive for farmers in developing countries, particularly in Liberia, to have opportunity now to make more money? Is where we're supposed to be taking advantage of the opportunity and say, look, how do we now provide access to finance? How do we provide access to equipment for production on oil palm production? And with that, it can also increase the yield and increase the productivity, and Liberia can get a huge revenue generation. And besides, Golden Variant have merged with another group called Safeca. In fact, right now they merged with the Harper oil palm out there, and they got Safeca, Golden Variant Safeca. It's a big entity now, and their production level has increased. You also have another group, that Western Cross, that was in Cape Mount. There's a huge oil palm industry down there. So with all of these news about price increase in oil palm, it put us in a very right position as a country to say, how do we leverage that? So maybe the best thing to do now is for the government to see in the agreement, what are some of the opportunities that are there? Outgrow farmers that are there, what are the opportunities for them? You can now see how best to finance the outgrow farmers, that they can have access to capital and sell to Golden Variant and increase our productivity. These are great opportunities for us now. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. So the main thing is, do we have the infrastructure, right, to be able to take advantage of certain things like this in the market? So, ladies and gentlemen,
we do have. Let me say this: we do have. The Golden Variant was given the opportunity to actually take over the port of Sano, and they have done well to fix the port of Sano, and they have the production now is at a huge, large scale. All that is needed to be done is that for them to have a cooperative system with farmer cooperative, with smallholders who will be able, where they will be able to have a buying station, production site, and all of these things to see how best they can increase their productivity and access market. That's what we need to have now in Liberia. And that was a very good news when I read it. I also share with some people back in Liberia, those who are in policy making decisions. I share with them, so what do you think about this? And in fact, I told my academic institution, the school, the agriculture department, said, look, what do you think about this? What do you think about this opportunity? So we have to take advantage of that.
Thank you. Definitely. That's something that we can take advantage of, or we should take advantage of. And do we have the infrastructure? Definitely say yes, we definitely have the infrastructure. Can we implement it in Liberia? I think we're looking and we're crossing our fingers and our legs and everything to make sure that we take advantage of this golden opportunity. And
you have individuals that are making money out of that. I know of Sandolo. And right. Sandolo has an oil processing, he's doing oil palm processing in Liberia. Yes. And has a link straight to the Freeport. These are things the railroad, using the railroad to get to the Freeport. That's what we need to be doing now.
I agree that I think there's various oil company in Liberia. I think there's two of them, like you mentioned, right? We can leverage that. But we want to, in as much as I think it's good to have those cooperative, they should have a partnership with those small stakeholder farms. We have to diversify too. Like we don't want, because the reason why I said that this is what's happening in Ivory Coast right now with what's this? Carlyle Group, right? That's the biggest exporter of cocoa out of Ivory Coast, right? Mm-hmm. They have a complete monopoly over the cocoa price. So those people that are those small stake farmers that are producing cocoa, they don't have anywhere else to sell it. The only company they can sell it to is the Carlyle Group, which have complete control over the price. So if the Carlyle Group said, this is what we're paying per pound of cocoa, That's what happens. In as much that I think gold and beryllium is I saw it. We drove through it too in Grand Cayman when we're going, but they have a big like it's nice trees, well maintained, right? If they are leveraging that, the government, and this is why I think the Depo alluded to, policy has to come in place. The government has to make sure that these farmers, stakeholders are getting a livable price, fair price for what they're producing. So if these people are going to be the only producer of oil palm in our country and the small stake farmer holders are selling to them, the government has to make sure that they're not being stifled for their price and because there's only one dominant player in that market space.
Definitely. I mean, that is definitely something we can continue to look at to monitor, right? The opportunity is definitely there. And let's see how Liberians, right, in general can kind of benefit. But one thing I also must comment on is that when we invite a business to Liberia to come to
1 second, let me make a correction here. Not the Carlyle Group. Cargill Group.
how do you
Thank you.
spell it? Do you know how you spell it?
Cargill. I think
CRGIL.
Cargill. Right.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
Cargill
Carlyle Group
Group.
is an
Okay, good.
investment firm. Right.
So one of the things that's important is that when we invite companies to Liberia, we can't look at the companies with malintent, right? Assume bad intention, right? Because at the same time, these are individuals being given the responsibilities, the CEOs, to come into Liberia, and at the end of the day, to make profit, right? Bottom line, right? They have a responsibility. Do you think the sentiments on the ground are sentiments that are inviting to foreign companies to come in? We hear about the strikes, workers inequalities, right? We always hear about Firestone, right? Every time you hear that, it's nothing really positive, right? Yet they
Right.
contribute a lot. So share with me that when are those things that should an investor really say, hey, you know what, that's just media, or is that something to be strongly concerned about?
Now, I will say this, and I will say this clearly, despite what, and maybe because I have this optimism, I'm an optimist person, right? Despite what you hear about Liberia and Liberian people, one thing that is clear, the people that you see that are in abject poverty, they want to work, right? They want to work, they want to earn their living, but the opportunity is not there. So it's incumbent upon the government to create that environment that will invite people to come in, that will invite foreign investors, even Liberian in the diaspora, to say, okay, I want to invest in Liberia. There are many of us sitting here that are, holding our card to the chest right now, say, hey, I'm just waiting for this next administration to come in to see what I can do in the country. Many people want to do that. Forget other foreigners who want to go invest in the country. Many Liberians here want to invest, but we're holding our cards to the chest for several reasons: the security, the health, the killing, all of those things. So we're holding our card to the chest, waiting to see what's going to happen. But as far as Liberians in Liberia, they do want to work. And like you can see that. Go drive in the street, you will see kids as unfortunate as it is, hucking bread, gum, like Winglers, think 5 in a pack. The people will be selling one to you in traffic. That tells you that the various things you want to buy, the car wheel, the thing that go over the car, anything you look for, you can find that thing in traffic, right? That tells you that they want to work, but the actual mean of being able to go to a plate of employment to work and earn a living is not there. So they scrap. These are very scrapper. These are people that are hustle. That's what I call hustle, right? So the world is there. It's just that the environment hasn't been created for people to go in to invest to create jobs in our country. And I think with the right leadership that come in place, if they do that, things are going to change. Liberia is a very small country with 43,000 square miles. Like you can cough and you can stand up and look over the border, right? Well, that's small. So it shouldn't take a lot to develop that country. The will of the people is there. When I tell you, sometimes when I'm driving, when we're stuck in traffic, I can just pull the window down and look at these people in traffic. Not in disgust, but seeing that like the sheer resilience in those people that are, hey, these are people that are there because they want to make things work for themselves, right? Not because they want handouts. So the will is there. We just have to create the right environment for the government needs to create the right environment for investors to go in. As I said, this diaspora people in the diaspora are the middle income. Put the right government in place, and what is happening, you will see a flux of investment going in there, and that will also drag in foreign investment to go in our country as well. Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gabriel. The hour is coming to far spent. Let's read some of the comments. I read a few comments, and you may choose to respond to a few of them, and you have 3 minutes to respond to a few, and also provide some brief closing remarks. Okay. Yasa Diggs, hope you guys don't forget about major issues concerning the airport. Yes, Yasa, thank you. We covered it. Something urgent have to be done about saving lives of not only Liberians, but others are online. The lives of other people are on the line. That's what she means. Jimmy Innsman, thank you. We always appreciate you. You are a steady fan. Thank you. Still just say the rate is ridiculously high. This is in response to the credit rate, 20%, 30% credit rate. Said this is a disaster for failure. Speaking also about the borrowing. So of course, Mackie, we also heard what he said. River says, Pro, how you doing, brother? Ridiculous. Are you concerned the fact that Ellen had the world's largest multinational peacekeeping force? And he will be elaborating on this a little bit more. Here we go. Sierra Leone privatized a lot of their roads. They have tools, boots to pay for the cost. River says, Pro, man, this thing is catching your heart, River says. In terms of security stability, President Sirleaf had peacekeepers who were primary to peace and public safety in Liberia. All around the world, when peacekeeper leaves, it takes a lot to rely on national security. Iraq, Afghanistan, etc., etc. So he's talking about security. How can
I will respond to that.
Yeah, how can a country progress when half of the country is stealing electricity? Sima Darby in Kidmount, I guess he's saying for this palm oil stuff.
Right.
River says, Dwalu, how you doing, brother? You've been quiet for a while, but good to hear from you. What is wrong with our farming sector? People are not making subsistence farming hand to mouth anymore. Everyone from my village is in Monrovia doing nothing. Cargill is one of my customers. Okay, River says, we got to invite you on the show. Tell us how you like it. Terrence Smith, Liberia has an investment commission. Why not invite a commissioner to the show? Inform your audience about what is going on in terms of investments in Liberia. Thank you, Terrence.
That's a good idea.
Just so you know, Terrence Smith, if you have connection with that, please give him our contact. We're on Facebook. Let us know so we can reach out to him. And publicly, we're saying to the investment commissioner, you invited on here anytime. Risa say excuses. Nigeria has one of the highest murder rate per capita. Investors are pouring in on the crude oil side of the house. Dwalu says, you're absolutely right. Y'all said Liberia middle class already exists. You just have to bring them home. I think Gabriel, he's responding to you.
All right.
How will investors go to Liberia when you are talking like this? Well, that's something good. I think somebody will respond to that. Thank you, Stephen. Great show highlighting great issues surrounding Liberia. How investors will go to Liberia when we talk negative about a country on the internet?
It's not negative. You got to call out this.
What will be the effect of our courts? What will be the effect of the court case between GT Bank and George Kelando on contracts and credit? Oh, we didn't touch on that. Maybe we can touch on that.
I'm not aware of that. I don't know if you guys
so we try not to make comments too much. We know that this guy is in court. I know that, but I don't know much about it. So you will forgive us.
We don't want to get sued if it's in court.
Do more research, but you're welcome to contact us if you have some stuff. You're a Liberian, and we can stream your thoughts and comments. So, with that being said, Gabriel, 2 minutes. Dwalu, 2 minutes. Take us home. Who want to go
Not
first?
Dwalu. Depu.
Depu. Sorry, Depu, please. Sorry, Depu.
So there's two things I want to mention. First, I will say this. Peacekeeper. I think it was to River says Pro. River says Pro. You're right. The peacekeeper were maintaining a lot of the peace that we had in our country. And when they left, Yeah, there may have been not that may have been, there was a deterioration in security. However, you know, we can't continue to, rely on to say, just because the peacekeeper left, that means we can't maintain our own security. This is why a government was elected. You coming in, those are the issues you look at. You should have forecast that when these people leave, there's going to be a deterioration in our security. So you should have had a plan to deal with that. So we cannot continue to make, and we continue to make this argument all the time. So I just wanted to say that we have an administration that came in. They're aware of it. They understood the impact that was going to happen when those peacekeepers left. They should have prepared for it to maintain the peace in our country and prevent some of these unsolved murder that is happening. The other thing I wanted to say was his comment on subsistence farming. He is right on subsistence farming, where people are not doing farming anymore. He's right. Everybody and their grandmother is leaving the village and coming to Monrovia, doing nothing. I agree with that. That started during the Firestone time when they were recruiting labor, using slave labor to have people leave those villages and come to Monrovia to work on those Montserrado, to work on those various plantation. That trend has never stopped. People think better life is in Monrovia, so they leave those villages where they could have go to them farm, make rice farm, all those things. They leave that and come to Monrovia, and they do nothing. Nothing they're doing. In Monrovia, when I go to Liberia, I like to just go people watching to see what people do, behavior. Like I will go to Central Monrovia and just stay there. Go see able bodies in Central Monrovia. Nothing going on, right? Nothing happening. So he's right about that. But that trend started in during the Firestone time with the recruitment of labor for people leaving their villages to come to work on the Firestone plantation, and that has never stopped. So that's why this is happening. Hopefully, we can decentralize this government and people can go work to their very respective counties. Yeah. So I will leave it on that.
No, Gabriel, please. We have about 7 minutes. One more thing I wanted you to talk about. Somebody mentioned about the investment.
Yeah, let Depu. I don't know if Depu want to come in, or I can just
go ahead.
Right. Sorry, I don't want to pick up.
Yes, I know. In addition to the point that Gabriel raised about the peacekeeping force, let us be very realistic. It's true that Madam Sally first term and some going towards the middle term, she has a peacekeeping force, one of the largest in the world at the time. But the peacekeeping force left 2 years before the end of her tenure. That was July 2015.
Thank you.
So we shouldn't be looking at those reasons. And one of the that can tell you clearly that's why the current government keep failing, because is that they're always looking for shifting blame on something and not taking responsibility to improve the system. So she had the rest of the time with our peacekeeping force, and she left the country in the same hand, and the people are the ones who are supposed to now provide that safe security for investors and citizens. So the next thing which I think we have to be very practical and realistic about it is that Liberians, we are not, many people who are living coming from the rural area, rural urban migration. It started during the war, even though he talked about Firestone, but the Civil War brought a lot of people towards Monrovia environment because of safety and security. And thereafter, there haven't been this incentive to distract the people from living in the shanty in Monrovia and all those broken buildings, but to go in the rural area. And there should be some policy decision, deliberate policy decision by government to see how best to attract the people in the rural area. That is some simple way would be, maybe it's agriculture investment. When people are producing, this is what discourages production in the country. The cost of labor is very high. Most of the labor are concentrated in the capital. And the agriculture farmers, a farmer who goes to make agriculture, make farm, he invests more and generate less of his return. It discourages him from production. He ended up coming back to Monrovia. What do we do to subsidize or to help the farmers to ensure that they got, better yield and also better return on their investment? That's what will attract the people to go back in the rural area. Alternatively, The mining sector, you see artisanal mining is one of the drivers too. People are now using artisanal mining to go in the rural area to go and mine. And they also take them away from agricultural production because there's a quick cash that comes from the mining sector to enable them to come live back in the urban area in the city life that they need. So these are all linkages to development that we have, and to see how do we address the problem. And in addressing this, it had to be holistic approach. If you look at deliberate intervention in development planning, will be what industry you think you can pursue to make the people get attracted. Let's take into consideration, since there's no investment, let's take into consideration education industry. Can government say we decentralize the higher education, the colleges, you have it in the rural county where they have county university, county community college right now. How do you invest in it to become very productive and high quality? And students from there don't have to come to Monrovia, the University of Liberia, to know that I'm better educated and qualified. So these are things that would attract people. And the school industry is also, the education industry is very productive, because the more people you have going into community colleges, they come up with new ideas, new innovation, and that give them opportunity to create jobs for themselves in the local, in the locality that they acquire their education. That's a basic thing. Maybe besides education, we still use the health services and say, look, what do we do? How do you link your education program to the health? Or how do you link your education program to TVET program, to link it to see that people will see there are much opportunity change, value change in the process. Oh, I got my TVET education, I'm able to serve as let's say plumber or electrician in other facilities. So I don't need to go to Monrovia. These are things that we need to do to drive the private sector. Without this strategy, without this realistic point, it will be difficult to attract people to leave from Monrovia to go back in the rural area. The last point I just want to make also, and I've made this thing to the Liberian community in the United States, and some people say, from economic perspective, I'm behaving very selfish. Let me say this, because if civil working, many of us have opportunity, many people here came on immigrant or resettlement package. When they come, the first thing you have the 8 months to receive your free cash and everything. Once they get here, almost 60% of what they receive with the free housing, they tend to ship it back home. So our people who are in the refugee camp and those who live in Monrovia, there's no incentive for them to produce, because they feel that if you go get a job, you're going to be paid $100 or $150. But an uncle or aunt who live in the United States can provide $250 for you at the end of the month. What will really motivate you for you to go work? This is where the diaspora engagement is very much important. And one time I wanted to have this conversation with them. When I was a student here, I had a conversation in Philadelphia for a weekend while I was doing my survey to know how much do they send monthly or weekly to their relative in Liberia. Some of these people send over $1,000 monthly. Some people send $300, $500 monthly to our people. And that's a very good assistance. But how do we do it positively? Is there innovation in this kind of strategy? Maybe the best thing to do is say, you know what? I'm not going to give you free cash. You cannot put a pool. We will give you the money, go straight into business. I'm going to be buying.
That's a great topic. I think we should talk for another time.
Will help them to pick up. Other than that, the guy got free money. He feel, there's no incentive for him to go to work, and there's no incentive for him to go in the interior because he has everything coming from the family member in the United States.
Right.
Thank you so much, Gabriel. Thank you so much, Depu. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining Focus on Liberia, the marketplace. We've highlighted some topics that we're going to be going into depth with some of the other folks, crew members, and so forth. With that being said, Gabriel, we're happy that you're back, whether you're here in Liberia, wherever. We know that you're all Liberians. And with that being said, thank you, and stay tuned. We have On Point coming on next.
On Point coming on. You want to watch that?
We are Liberians.